nice voice.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Grenada Matters. Tonight I'm joined with Master Melvin Coutain, and of course co-host Mr. Earl J. Maitland of the Grenada Empowerment Movement. Good evening, Earl. Earl, start again. Good evening, Earl.
Good evening, Master Coutain. Good afternoon, Ingram. How are you both?
I'm good. How's Master Coutain doing?
Well, I good. And I down the ground walking as normal. I'm getting some rain in Grenada these days.
Yeah.
Good.
That is good for agriculture, which is important. So we could eat some good food and build back the immune system. You understand? Yeah.
That is correct. It has been rainy lately for the last couple of days. The wind has been really strong. It's a bit enjoyable. But some farmers may argue that it's too much rain because we have had a bit of landslides and so on. But it's nice weather. It's different to the usual that we have here, you know.
Okay, but they can't have it both ways. The weather is good compared to Jamaica. Jamaica is flood out. Trinidad also had some flood. The water table, if you don't get water in the water table, the dry season will be bad because January coming February going back into the dry season. So we need rain, otherwise you'll have problem because now our side really now water we ain't getting it. You see
Yeah, and you know, Master Coutain, it's good that Master Coutain mentioned this because this show is all about Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique and addressing all of the inefficiencies that the system has. And we will and do hope that the persons in authority who are paying attention to the show, they would actually make the changes to honor our rights as citizens, as persons that need certain things to survive. Just the basic things. For instance, there have been many complaints over the years about the quality of water when there is water, which sometimes it's like a treasure having water here, especially in areas like Labary and so on. You know, we do understand that the workers are out there, you know, they're digging up the roads, they're trying to make things happen, but we will and we do expect them to do things a bit different and more professionally, especially as we have seen them exhibiting the amount of monies that they have been collecting. Upper Lucas Street, there's a big building going up there for Nawasa, whilst persons in Labary and so on cannot get water and they are not getting good quality water. Right? We need them to buck up on that.
Well,
you know?
Isn't that the area for Gregory Bowen?
Yes, it is. It is.
So he should know. He should do better, surely.
Well, you could only do better if you know, you know. Income if you don't have, you can't give. As I said, my skill in school when I graduated from school youth camp, the skill I did was plumbing. Okay, and these guys and them for years they're running galvanized pipe, and since in plumbing school like back in the early 80s, they tell you galvanized pipe, the guarantee on a galvanized pipe is 10 years. The warranty. Now, when you cut some of them pipe and you look into the pipe, it clogged up, it corroded on the inside. The outside have zinc on it to protect it when you put it in the earth. So these guys still using zinc pipe in the 21st century in Grenada. Now I see them bringing in some plastic. Now, pipe supposed to bury at least 2 to 3 feet in the ground. Okay, the pipe here run on the surface. And it's because Grenada have something called rock and a lot of stone and different stuff. So basically, I believe, as I tell someone, the amount of money, if you check for the amount of years they run in pipe, if they run pipe on two sides of the road, or when they're doing a pipe to every 100 feet or every 200 feet, you put a 6 inches pipe about 3 feet across the road. So if the pipe bursts, you just connect on one side, connect on the next, and you pull it in and you're pushing back on and you replace it. You wouldn't have to be digging up, because the reason we have bad road, every time they fix the road, the following day, the water company come in and dig it up. And then they send in some gang to patch it back. And when them patching it, they patching it like somebody, like a man beat up his wife and in fighting, I think he get caught. And he asked her to put on some plaster, so she just slap on some plaster anyhow on him. So me and you had to suffer over that. And your vehicle had to pay the price for it. And nobody not really suing the Ministry of Works because they're damaging your vehicle.
Well,
Nobody never take the chance to really bring them and sue them for damaging of the vehicle.
Master Kutain, it's funny that you would say that, because I actually went to the same Minister Gregory Bowen, the parliamentary representative and constituency representative for South St. George, who is the Minister of Works, who would have been responsible for the roads and so on. I actually went to his office, made an appointment, and I also went to the Royal Grenada Police Force and let them know that this is destruction of property, right? Persons who are traveling on the road, including pedestrians, we have paid a certain amount of taxes that should have been allocated to such,
No,
but in Grenada, we do not have that opportunity to pursue justice in the area where we could get compensation for the damages on our personal properties, which would be the vehicles and so on. I mean, we have people walking in the streets who fallen in town and so on in the central business district, which is in St. George. When you even walk across there, and you see the amount of flooding in front KFC and the tunnel and so on, um, it makes you question the amount of monies that have been spent on projects such as Sandal Tunnel and so on. After spending millions of dollars on Sandal Tunnel, one would not expect the drainage to not have been addressed. Where in 2020, we are seeing that the one drop of rain falls from the sky and the tunnel just floods.
You're still.
In front
Oh,
KFC.
I left Grenada in 2014. You still have that problem now in 2020.
Yeah, we do.
not only
We even
Monrouge, Grenville Town. Just imagine Grenada is a hilly place now, and it have flood on top of a hill. The water not running out.
and somebody posted a picture. Somebody posted a picture. I would like you to share it so the viewers could see. And I'll read the caption of the picture. Right. So this was posted, and the person is saying that this is allegedly in the middle of the road in Mamakan, an area called Mamakan. And for those who know the history of Mamakan, it's the mother of Cain's. That is what Mamakan was in St. Andrew up here. And that hole that we just saw there, that person is saying that hole is in the road. And this is something that we naturally see around the island of Grenada.
I fell in a ditch trying to run away from a dog. It's middle of, they got no light down in Mount Airy. So you're walking back at night time, no light, walking down. The lights are meant to be on. There's no light. Walking for some big dog come towards me. Next minute, I find myself falling down into a ditch. The dog ran the other way. He didn't know what was going on. The dog ran the other way, and I'm pulling myself out of a ditch.
Well,
Not elaborate. Mount Airy. As you guys down into it. Just
as I said, Ingram. As I said, this is not something unique to one particular area. We did have a situation where I believe last year, an SGU student who is an American he returned to Grenada on his honeymoon with his wife, and they were actually walking along Morris Bishop Highway. And whilst walking on the sidewalk, they fell into a ditch that was left uncovered, and they damaged, they injured themselves, right? But this is something that naturally happens in Grenada, where no one is being sued. And even in cases where government officials and the government is being sued, and the court rules in favor of the injured party or the party that the injustice has been meted out to, we have government officials, such as the Prime Minister, refusing to carry out the instructions of the court. Let us look at Ms. Gemma Bain Thomas, who got a positive response from going to the judicial system. And since then, nothing has happened. The Prime Minister has blatantly refused. The Public Service Commission has blatantly refused. So this is where the exhibition of this reckless behavior comes ahead. It is very disgusting, it is very disgusting. So I would like to, encourage the people of Grenada, as we normally do, encourage the people of Grenada to stand with victims, because one day we ourselves would become victims to this injustice. I would like to encourage the people of Grenada to read your law books. It's online. We go on laws.com.gd, sorry, laws.gd.org, and the laws of Grenada are there. We need to educate ourselves so we can stand.
While you're at it, just for 1 second, also watch our weekly show, Attorney at Law. Attorney at Law, once a week, we have Miss Herika Willis talking about various bits of law across the Caribbean. So Caribbean law by Attorney at Law every week here for Canadians and people across the Caribbean. So we will be empowering Caribbeans to, yeah.
Earlier, you make a statement just now that we paying tax. You just pay tax?
Yes, all the time.
No,
all the time.
No, they take tax from you. They take it.
Yeah.
They put it on your phone bill. They put it on your water bill.
On the gas pump.
Electricity bill. They put it on the gas pump. You didn't.
They put it on the groceries as well. Don't forget the groceries. When
and, the internet.
Right.
Internet, everything. Everything.
So they take it from you. They don't ask you, they don't give you a choice. So why it is when the time comes for you to get what is due to you, because they say that pump, the money from the pump is to fix the road.
Not only, and Master Kutain, and the thing is, now let us look, for example, at COVID. Now, persons who would have paid insurance for their vehicles, that particular point in time, doing the inspection fees and so on, when vehicles were not allowed on the road because the place was on lockdown, persons did not receive any discounts for these vehicles. Even persons, returning nationals, as myself, who was stuck outside and had no assistance from the government of Grenada, to return to Grenada as a Grenadian citizen. I had to make it on my own. When I came back here, I had to pay, although I did not use my car for 6 months in Grenada. I had to pay the actual fee. There was no discount. When you had to pay your license and so on, there's no discount. They do not take into consideration that this vehicle was down. It was not operating for 6 months. So we should probably take half of that money or extend the time, right? But we still have the government saying that revenue has been cut. So it really raises the question: where is the mathematical function of the Minister of Finance? Does he really possess that acumen to sit in the capacity as Minister of Finance? What is really happening in this country? Where's the money going?
Well, all use a little potato, so they nothing. The point, the point that what happening there, look like me. I work for 25 years in SU. I
Uh-huh.
retired to come out here to work with young person,
Uh-huh.
and you've been prevented from doing
Mm-hmm.
that or
Mm-hmm.
doing any assistance or doing any national duties or anything because you need to be part of their system or their party.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that individuals tell me that plain out. I'm not part of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but my point is, I paid NIS straight for 25 years. And there's times NIS girl can have 300, 200, 100 for my salary.
Mm-hmm.
When I had the lockdown, I was at Fit for Life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Um, doing classes 2 or 3 times a week. I did classes there. And then they say they had $10,000 from NIS. And persons who not
Million.
million, okay. People who not working could they have to prove they was working for the last 3 months and
Mm-hmm.
also the where they was working and what so the person who you're working supposed to take. To date, I went to NIS, a call or whatever it is. Nobody get back to me, nobody tell me nothing. The leader of the country say $10 million, and when they done, it done. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask again. They take out NIS from my money. It is compulsory. You understand? And now
Mm-hmm.
for I to benefit now, when the time comes, there's persons who in pay and I for 25 and how much years and make the contribution I have made for this country. They receive. I listen them, I listen who receive, who get taxi man, get this one, get everybody get up to the date I get. So now say use a little potato. What are you talking about it? That small fry.
So, and Master Kutin, and you're very correct.
So
You're very correct. Unless you fall within the bounds of the umbrella that covers the corrupt population in Grenada, then you are a little potato, right? You're very correct. And we see the opportunities that have been afforded to many persons who are affiliated with government officials and authoritarians. And we see the amount of privileges that they have, even to break the law. And as we have said in the past, when you are financially challenged, when you do not have that freedom to spend or to invest in Grenada, the Prime Minister would not act as your defense attorney as he would have for the gentleman who owned Silver Sands when he actually breached the laws that governs building next to our beaches. And it shows a pattern.
the
And
man
our
never
Prime Minister stands and says that even though a gentleman breaches the physical planning act of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, it was a mistake he made. So we had the Prime Minister acting as the man's defense attorney. And it went on without any repercussions. And now we have seen over the few short years where Lasajes, citizens of Grenada, were refused entry to Lasajes Beach. We heard of the horrific stories where fishermen who earn their livelihoods, who have grown up on that beach in Lasajes, were just one day greeted by machinery which just dug up their little hut where they stored all their fishing equipment and so on and was taken away in a truck. We have heard that the minister, Oliver Joseph, the parliamentary representative, who really does nothing for St. David's, went there and he was unable to solve the matter. And that has gone on to what do you call that place there, Master Kutin in Fort Judy, where
yeah.
citizens
So
have been refused entry.
mhm.
And it makes you wonder what is really happening in this country that we so love and that we pay so many ridiculous taxes to. What is really happening?
I tell you
And
not tax, they're taking it from you. Those they're
and they,
taking
they, they do take the taxes. And I want to invite persons to look at the receipts when they go shopping for groceries. If you don't have a vehicle, Once
VAT.
you buy a mint in Grenada, if you buy a mint, Master Kutain, the people must be reminded that even if you are unemployed, once you buy a mint in Grenada, there is tax on that mint. So you are a taxpayer. Once you live in Grenada, you are a taxpayer. You buy a sweet biscuit, there's tax on it. Look at the VAT, the amount of money that has been taken off of VAT on your grocery list. When you buy car parts, look at the amount of money, right? Grenada has one of the most extraordinary amounts of money cost for anything in the world, and that one reason for that would be amount of taxes that are taken at the ports, at our ports. Last I remember, we had the customs department boasting about making an additional $15 million, and the January, that was in January, I believe, 2015. A few months after that, the the tariff, the tax on vehicle parts moved from 56% to 64 point something percent, even after making over $15 million than what they had expected. That, when our minister of finance and our government officials come to us and say, you know what, COVID has brought the country to its knees, it makes you wonder, where has all the money that has been collected and all the grants and loans, where has this money been going? We have seen recently in Graham, um,
I
Minister Delma Thomas
sharing
has
this.
been, yeah, Minister Delma Thomas has been given the sole responsibility, I would say, after the cabinet reshuffle, Master Kutain, to the hospital facility, the General Hospital, which is located right next to the sea, in St. George. And it makes you wonder again, where are all our professionals? The smallest child at age 5 can tell you the sea breeze, Master Kutain, it makes things rust. And we have all this medical equipment up there
Only that.
that being hit by the sea breeze, that's rusting up
That
there. A lot of instruments are spoiling up there. But that the minister has taken upon herself, with some other citizens, I understand, to go to the general hospital and clean up the general hospital, the windows and so forth, and mop the floors, which we do appreciate. But it makes me wonder, how much money has the government allocated to cleaning the hospital facility? And if we are allocating money to clean the hospital facility, why is it that Minister Delma Thomas has to go to the hospital after we are paying company to clean the hospital? Why is it that the minister has to go there and clean the windows and mop the floors? What is really happening? How
and
much money has been spent?
also, and she in charge of social affairs.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay,
The minister is in charge there as well.
I've been to this office many times.
Mhm,
I asked to work with young person.
mhm,
They asked me to present documents. I never hear about these people up to now. Okay, but nevertheless, she in the hospital cleaning up. So therefore, now, as somebody used to be in the union, trade union, working with the trade union, she's
mhm,
telling the state to get rid of the maintenance staff in the hospital because they're not doing a job.
mhm,
And I don't think that is her portfolio. Her portfolio, again, she's supposed to be leading.
mhm.
The hospital's supposed to be clean because you're paying a staff up there. There's a maintenance staff. What the maintenance staff actually doing?
Well,
And
exactly. I
it's
mean, I would not
supposed
pay
to be motivated
somebody to
maintenance
clean.
staff to clean up the place. That is her job. But when you're
Eh,
taking people from outside to come
mhm,
in, you're actually putting these people out of a job because you're showing the state it will take a cost. If you are to pay a team of person to go into the hospital to clean up the hospital, it's a cost. If you could get the whole of Grenada to volunteer and go into the hospital and clean it up, therefore the next morning you don't need that staff. So therefore, if you continue doing things like that, you're making people uncomfortable. When you're supposed to be leading people, you're misleading them. Now she's supposed to be in social affairs. Somebody like me and others who are trying to do things in the community and work with young person, counseling people. You know much work I don't be doing on the daily, and a daily people calling me or helping. You're going and you don't have. Just like you don't have. But because you're outspoken and you talk about issues, what you see, because you have an eyesight to see what is happening.
It's all right. Don't
So-
worry. We will build. We don't need them. We will build. We don't need them.
No, now that's trying to show these people forget their duty. They was employed to look after our interests, not to take over your interests.
Well,
If driver in a vehicle, they can come and say, "Watch, go in the back seat, and I go drive today." That is not your portfolio, and this is the problem you have with people not they want to do the work what you was employed to do. So you have a problem. You're creating animosity, you're creating division, and you're making people uncomfortable.
but if you put people in positions of power that don't know what they're doing, they're just put there because they're friends of the prime minister, but they're actually not qualified for the job. Then I still don't understand why you have to pull somebody from Ireland to be your head of tourism. I still don't get that. I still don't understand that. You have to get an Irish person. I certainly know they ain't probably no Grenadian to be head of tourism in Ireland. I can assure you of that. Having lived in Ireland for 3 years, I can assure you that you're not Grenadian doing that in Ireland.
Write a letter to that lady. I write a letter to that same lady in she did tourism authority, and I asked her saying at the time I was getting Cynthia Rock, the actor. I was getting Wang Zhang which is Silver Fox, and Billy Banks to come to Grenada for $10,000 US dollars. All them people wanted was a room, the meal, the airline ticket. Now, if the airline coming in from the US or wherever it is at the plane have empty seat, the state of Grenada does pay for the seat. The rooms, the hotel, to the hotel association.
Master Kuten, before you go ahead, I want people to understand that part what you just said. When the plane comes to Grenada, if it comes half full,
We
the
are the
state
plane.
of Grenada pays for the remainder of seats. It pays for the empty seats. So it's already paid for. And Master Kuten, before you go ahead, and that is something that that has bothered me over the years. When we have persons who need medical assessments and medical treatments and so on, they are still being forced to go and find money to travel to America and these places when the government has already paid for the empty seats. Where is the assistance to these people?
Could have been a donation.
So Master Kuten, go ahead. You were speaking about the.
So now I was getting this person. What normally I went in Guyana to develop type martial art, taekwondo. All of us went in the Trinidad, St. Lucia to build martial art in Grenada. That was in 2016. I went back there in 2017 and I was there 2018. We did it in Trinidad in 2014. You call in Lavantil. We brought in Silver Fox and Wang Zhang Cynthia Rock, Eric Skruskivi, and a few of the top martial. They call them the legend in martial art. So we work with young persons up. They talk to them, put programs. Cynthia Rock even adopted a child in Avanti, help to send her to school. This is the type. And what they does when they come in, they do endorsement. So like tourism, they'll do promos for tourism to help promote. They'll help the martial art school, talk to instructors, and you build up the martial art in the country, and then they leave and go in the next country. I was getting them to come to Grenada to do that. No, they do so now. And I wrote to this woman, I said, could you give me any advice as you're dealing with tourism authority, how we could go about, who to talk to? Because when I talk to tourism, the minister sent me back to tourism authority. You know, this lady right back at the letter there, she says she can't assist me.
Well, Master Kuten, you see,
I asked for advice.
You see, Master Kuten, I remember that, so many times we are being told that when jobs are offered in Grenada, The job should be going to our citizens first. And unless we have qualified persons to do the jobs, then we need to look outside. And these jobs need to be advertised in the newspapers and so on. Now, I remember just a few years ago, less than 5 years ago, I believe, there was a gentleman who came from Barbados. That gentleman's name was Mr. Rudy Grant. And it was at all expense paid, I understand, to come and run tourism in Grenada. Whilst we do have Grenadian citizens who are more than capable of heading such a department. So the question was just raised, why is it that we have somebody from Ireland in charge of the tourism in Grenada? Now, is the government actually breaking the laws again in Grenada without any repercussions? Just recently, we have seen persons of Asian descent walking in our roads and building homes and pulling lines, electrical lines, and so on. Is the government saying to me that there is no Grenadian out of 110,000 people that is capable of walking the road and pulling an electric line to give it to somebody to set up on an electric pole?
I want to hold you guys both there a second. There was an incident in St. Lucia, I believe, today on the beach where they were talking about tourists and foreigners wanting to kick the St. Lucians off the beach. And the St. Lucians were protesting today on the beach, I believe, to stop this nonsense going on.
I saw that.
See it?
Yeah. No, Earl, you see,
Mhm,
I as a person believe in history. After Ivan struck us in the
mhm,
parliament, you know, it was the discussion in parliament. Look how hard the women in Grenada are working and the men sit down and the men are so lazy. This is the in parliament.
mhm,
No, you put persons to represent you. I can remember back in the days in Trinidad, they said Trinidadian was lazy. When Robinson come in office, what they do that survey. And Trinidadian used to work fortnightly and weekly. They work by the day. What they did, they move salary from the day and they start paying people by the hour and they start paying them by the square yard or square foot. According to how much blocks you put on, they started working or they started paying for the block. So therefore, people step up because for each block you put on, you get either $2 or $3. It have many to put on something like 1,000 block a day. Now they start paying people by the hour. You know what people start doing? They start working from 7 to 10 in the night. So they look for different strategy to get people to work. They didn't go in parliament and say that Trinidadian lazy. They come up with an idea and they look at different programs and things and to get the people to work. No, the same set of ministers in parliament also. When they was building the stadium and the Chinese, they leave Taiwan and they went to China and the Chinese come in. And the thing is, look how hard the Chinese are working. And Grenadians don't want to work. And this, how much the Chinese was paying? $50 they paying at a Mason. A tank of gas is $40. Check the price of food. Food price is high, like them bombers that they used to bomb Iraq. And your salary low, like the troop that creeping in you with a gun to go in to kill the people. You understand? So if you give a man $50, like $250 a week, his passage alone from St. Patrick, because the people that come in and do this work is from the country, but very rare get people from the town go in and take this kind of money. So these people
yeah.
are either St. Patrick or the other take so either $6 or $7. So them the passage alone for the day is about $25 or $30. Depends
Yes.
on where you're coming out.
What
Going out.
what happened,
Well,
Master Kutain?
you could say that.
Now, what I remember last election and even before the last election, I remember using the political platform as a patriot, as I am, and I told the people of the state that minimum wage needs to be addressed. Minimum wage has been being highlighted in the Employment Act of Grenada. Minimum wage has a section of its own. And according to the laws of Grenada, minimum wage, then there needs to be a minimum wage committee set up every 3 years. And it needs to be addressed. But that doesn't happen when we have minimum wage still being $4.50 per hour and $36 per day. As you said, Master Kutin, and Ingram, that is an EC, yeah? That is an EC. As you
Yes.
just said, many persons are coming from St. Patrick, and the amount of money that they are getting as a salary for in exchange for their hard labor, it is ridiculous, it is illegal, and it is not being addressed. We have a Ministry of Labor that is being run as the personal ice cream shop of Cyrus Griffith and Oliver Joseph and Peter David. That is what is happening in Grenada. And the personal selfish shop of Lima Frederick, who is a very disrespectful individual. She doesn't deserve to deal with any human beings. I would not even have a lady with such a character dealing with some pigs on a farm if I was in charge of a farm. Um, but that is reality.
Oh my
That is the
God.
reality. It might sound funny, but that is the truth. My ex-people, it is very disgusting. It is shameful. And it's very painful to see that we, the people of Grenada, continue to have so many crises when it comes to getting justice in every field that we can think of. All the public offices that we have in Grenada are just failing the people that continue to pay the salaries. When we look, Master Kutain, and we are dealing with things that are happening in Grenada. Look at, for instance, there was a young man who was shot in his leg when I was in Antigua. Um, just the other day, a few months ago, he was shot in his leg by a police officer at his home. Normally, someone would say, that seems to be unjustifiable use of force. But in Grenada, it has been authorized by those in authority that this officer who did the shooting, who shot this gentleman in his leg, much like how Bruce Briggs was shot in his leg in 2016 and died, right? It was said that it was justifiable. Do we really expect our police officers to go around shooting unarmed civilians?
That's the
Right
reason.
now, it repeated itself just a few days ago in Fontenoy, I believe, where a young man was said to be smoking a joint, marijuana, and he was shot in the arm. And when we do just a bit of investigation, now what would have happened if this gentleman, if this bullet went 2 inches to the right? This young man would have been shot in his heart, most
Mhm.
likely dead
Yes.
for marijuana,
And that police
right?
still on the job, right?
Master Kute?
The police still on the job.
The police is still on the job. But
And they
I
want to shoot,
mean,
they want to shoot the one in Gov. He's still on the job.
still on the job.
No,
Still on the job.
the bullet that used to shoot that man, right?
Uh-huh.
The same tax you say you paying. What they
Hmm.
take from you, they buy that bullet. And the argument is not about the bullet the policeman shoot the man in. The
Hmm.
argument what I'm hearing is the wrong bullet, what the attorney is saying, because what they say, the bullet what they find in the man, that is not a police bulletin.
Hmm.
And
So what
everybody
and
say
I agree.
everybody say they see the policeman pull the gun and shoot the man.
So Master Kutin, and and this 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 has come from a country that has allowed the Royal Grenada Police Force to shoot 5 mentally ill people in 2016 and get away with it, right? Three of whom died. Um, it's really sad, the things that are allowed here. And when we look to America, when we look at CNN and YouTube and so on, and we see what has happened to George Floyd in America,
It's
there
happening.
has been protests even in Grenada. But when it happens to our people who have been shot, murdered, hung by police officers in Grenada, there's no protest. But we're protesting George Floyd and so on when we have our own George Floyd here. Um, the system is a blatant failure, as we have realistically concluded. Also, as I said, every office in the public service continues to fail. When we look even at the medical system, we're not even looking at failures of where persons are dying at the hospitals and there's no accountability and so on. But we're just looking at the simple fact that Minister Clarice Modest Cohen said that Grenada is totally prepared for COVID. But 2 times we have found out that persons who should have been quarantined, positive cases of COVID, were able to leave the facilities. The first one, a few months ago, was able to travel to Canada, I believe, or on Air Canada. And then the second one, most recently, who was able to go different places, but he was a positive case. And as a result of that, a lady who came into direct contact with him, a young lady, she has also tested positive for COVID. I believe 77 persons or 80 persons were placed on quarantine. And a next gentleman, a 77-year-old gentleman, has tested positive. Now, most recently, we have found out that a gentleman who is in police custody has tested positive for COVID.
Hmm.
And this has been one of our major concerns as Grenadian citizens. There has been many outcries where police officers have been going around the island and taking persons and putting them, stocking them up like sardine in the back of a police vehicle during these COVID times. And the general public have had the general concern. Would this be putting persons at risk? And we were told no, because the authorities are doing it, the authorities know best and so on. Now, this gentleman that came from Central Police Station who has tested positive for COVID, how many prisoners, how many persons, detainees in Central Police Station did he come into contact with?
Only that,
Was he was
not
he
only
locked up alone?
not only that,
Now, uh-huh,
not only that. It has something health and safety. Again, that's one of my background, health and safety. And I keep on saying they don't take health and safety as serious. And the persons who deal with health and safety in this country, them as jokers.
mhm.
Okay.
But
Now,
that is a given. That is a given. That's an obvious thing.
the police arresting somebody right now when they're talking about COVID, they're supposed to have on a surgical gloves to touch a person is one. And I didn't see
Mhm,
that is happening. Okay.
mhm, mhm,
Next thing, the officer in the station, central station, as what
mhm,
I've seen in the news,
mhm,
he going home to a family. Then the
mhm.
man in the cell going inside where he have four walls to deal with inside of there, and then the prison is overcrowded.
An enclosed room.
Now sanitation in these places and them is not nice
Mhm,
because them cell doesn't be clean. It
mhm,
at a time I get vexed and I pelt a slap on somebody, lock me up. They say I should know better. I lost my temper and I'm sorry about it because I'm man and make us know better. But inside they ain't smelling nice.
mhm,
Much less inside of the and a man not eating properly and you have a bad gas, you like go inside, you have you have some
mhm,
problem inside of there. You have to use the bathroom, the
mhm,
ablution, you have a problem inside there. So the point is health and safety is something should be one of the number one thing on the radio. Talking to people, they're talking to people about hygiene, wash your hand and this and that. Your skin is the largest organ in your body. So
It,
it is normal to go on a bus with 18 person now and rob up a man. But if you catch me in town without a mask, you charge me $300 walking by myself because I breathe that carbon dioxide. It have some people can't talk in your face all because down inside of them is smelling so nice. So just
mhm.
imagine having a mask whole day, taking back in and say you will poison yourself. No, they're not taking it. When you look at Sweden, if you have COVID, Sweden put you inside. They say the mask, if you have COVID, you put on the mask so you can infect the next person. But they allow people to move about. Now, the winter is coming. If you check Europe, the COVID now is rising because the place down. Okay? Down here, they say one of the treatment, the doctors coming up now, because a few months ago, they could not say anything because they don't know how to deal with it. But now as time and studies coming to bringing out information, they say vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc, okay, will boost your immune system. Alcohol will weaken your immune system. Happen on a mass wholly also going to weaken your immune system.
They give you bacterial pneumonia as well.
Right. Now, these people here is telling you, Grenada now, one person or few person come out from abroad. And because you fail to put proper security system in place and put proper structure to deal with health and safety, you put me at risk. And then you're telling me now, if I don't have an
You have to pay for it.
I have to pay for it, otherwise you're going to lock me up. You're going to bring me in front of the judge. So you and your friends now decide now to take advantage of me. You make a statement, and Buju delivery was not good, but his pitch was correct, and his
What did
language.
Buju say? What did Buju say?
He's saying that Rastaman not supposed to be wearing no mask, and he not wearing no mask. Okay? And he said this is bullshit and free up my people. He said, you guys, white is you guys, you educated fool. You didn't come up with cure for cancer, and he called a few sickness what we have for years. You guys haven't think it. No, his delivery, his pitch, what the opening pitch about Rastaman not wearing no mask and what is wrong. But the part where he talk about free up, you know, Jamaica have a lot of poverty. A lot of poverty. This, if you're not eating, you're supposed to eat 50 pounds of food a week. And you're talking about a balanced meal. The United Nations said, or the world food and water, them is saying, okay, if you're living, I'm talking about 20 years ago, if you're living under $30,000 a year, you're living in poverty. So these 20 years now, we're in 2020. Some persons making less than 10,000 a year, some ain't even making none. So how you eating 50 pounds of food now? When a man discharge, he's discharged over something that says 5 million sperms. In order to build back that sperms in your body, you need to eat a certain amount of food to build it back to keep you going. So you going out there and you're working hard. You're a stressful life. Okay? You have to look for a house, cars, children go to school, you give them tablet, you give them this. So all of that, your body is not as strong as before. Okay. Now they say they're giving low income house. So the Ingram they start to build apartment blocks.
Yeah.
Growing up in Trinidad, and I traveling around Santo Domingo, Venezuela, Brazil.
I've seen some of those blocks of houses. They've got them in a block of flats. They've got them in Trinidad as well. And the guy brought attention to it and how terrible they were.
Thank you. It looked nice.
Mentally, psychologically, it's not good.
No, okay. The children that come out in there after 30 years, 40 years in Trinidad, La Hawketa, what you find inside of it? Muslim, what they call it next one? Rasta City, gangs, it had one called the A-Team, come out from the country. These children coming out in there, you can't plant a fig tree. Your parents always have to be working in order to maintain the rent or they have to pay national housing. If you have a neighbor outside who's worthless, who's smoking cocaine, now you have to deal with that. And he cleaning the place, so rat running across there by you, cockroach running across by you. Now, you always have to be living in a mall, because what they do when they build that now, they're going to build a mall. And then they're going to build Chinatown. And all these set of things. So they change now, they put in what they call an urban society. And this is the type of things that is coming in on now. So what will happen if you're living in a place and you spend $1 million, $500,000 to build a house, you borrow and you pay the bank, and they come and they build these things around your area, did they value your property? So then now, when you're talking about COVID and you're talking all them meds, what them people talking about? I ain't hear nobody on the radio talking about building him. They're talking about building your immune system. But anybody telling person Grenadians there's a lot of almond on the beach. Gather up the almond and try and eat as much almond and make almond milk. There's lemon coming in season to build your for vitamin C. Eat more green leaf vegetables. Yeah? Lime, there's gospo. We have grapefruit, we have oranges.
But Master Kuten, you have to remember,
You're not hearing.
the people that are in positions of authority, much like Nicholas Steele, they have no common sense really. They have no business being in positions such as health and so on. They cannot educate persons except by expecting persons to continue going to pharmacists and going to doctors and so on. Instead of speaking about prevention, what they actually do is basically nothing. You understand what I'm saying, Master Kuten? You look at the condition of the hospital,
All I see happening.
right?
Ask you guys a question, just slightly off topic, but do you think there's a space in Grenada now for things like cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and potentially going that way?
It's
Create
already,
currency instead.
it's already there, you know, because a friend of mine in Trinidad, he signed me up in it because, as I tell him, I had enough, but he signed me up in it, so they have it. And even I think Grenada, the Eastern Caribbean has introduced it also because there's one of the posts who come a millionaire in it. I think he living in St. Kitts. You understand? But who educated? You see, there's one group of persons in this place know about the information and certain, and they keep it among. They don't invite certain people in certain meeting. There's a lot of persons from outside who just share this information with me, and they invite me in these things. So it's so much I can't deal with everything. But in Grenada, you just have it. They don't encourage because the ending up of the day, the cashless society is already Grenada signed on to it. Grenada already signed on to be vaccinated and all these set of things.
Well, I spoke to Earl about this less than a month ago about a cashless society in Grenada and a vaccine society in Grenada starting next year. I said this to Earl. I said, "What are your solutions to it?" And now look what you've got. Now you've signed on to it.
Oh God, Lord!
I mean, there has been a lot of things that remain hidden. The persons in authority who continue to travel around the world at the expense of the taxpayer, Oliver Joseph, Peter David as foreign affairs ministers, and so on. They keep the information to themselves, much like the scholarships that we have been offered by different countries. If you're not politically affiliated, most likely you would not get a scholarship to do anything, or most likely you would not even be able to obtain a job on the side of the road, what they call road work.
A what?
Not politically affiliated. Road work, yeah.
A what?
The most popular job in Grenada right now.
A what? They call it cleaning the grass.
Yeah.
The side of the road.
Yeah.
A walk. That's what it's called. Come on, usually we know better. A walk.
Yeah. For next to nothing. For next to nothing.
Yeah, a walk.
It is a disgrace to see that this is what has been offered. We have so many intelligent people here in Grenada who do not have the opportunity.
Listen, that's the reason why a lot of these people are in power, because they're here to get a walk. And on Saturday morning, like I said before, Saturday morning, they can go down to the Prime Minister's house and get a handout of $100.
Yeah, true. Very true.
That's it.
Very true.
So that's what it is. Robin Hood mentality almost.
Yeah, but the battery in RAM, I'm short on time. We have like 6 more minutes. I hope 11% keeps me to that 6 more minutes remaining. But I'd like to say to the people of Grenada, there are many suffering because of the system. We do have a gentleman, an asylum seeker, who is housed at Her Majesty's prison.
But
and I would like to appeal to the Grenadian people, to my people, to our people, that this man is an African brother. If we were not taken from our villages in Africa, our ancestors were not taken, we would not be here in Grenada. This man could be our family. I consider him my family. I see myself as an African. And this gentleman has been housed at Her Majesty's prison since last year, August 2019. We are now in almost November. 3 more days and it's November 2020. That is over a year. That is over 300, over 400 days, I believe, this man would have been in the facility of the prison, which is not clean. Um, the mental pressures on this man, knowing that he tried escaping persecution and ended up in the wrong country at the wrong time under a government that does not honor laws and so on, international laws and the right for a person to do things to save their lives. I really feel it for this gentleman. I would like the general public, to appeal to each other and those in authority to really take this gentleman's incarceration seriously. We really have to do that. I can only imagine. And now we are hearing that, there's a gentleman who almost made it into Her Majesty's prison with COVID. And we have a population there of 470, about thereabout.
How much
And
women? How much women?
about six. On a given there's about 5, 6 women.
What
And
happened to the person from COVID? That the person that came back into Grenada and has now been. What happened to him? Tell me the story about that man.
Well, Ingram, what I'll do, let me read a release, a press release.
Well, he was going to read a press release, but his power's gone. Melvin, do you have the press release by any chance? I think the press release was on his Facebook page.
yeah, it come out. Yeah, it come out today.
You
I
got it?
didn't look at it. I heard about the incident.
He posted it on his page, I think.
Yeah, I heard about the incident. But somebody in the central police, and I think they yesterday passing, I think they were sanitizing the area and all these sort of things. But it come back again. Ingram, I was talking about health and safety. They don't take health and safety is something they don't take serious here. I can remember going to school back in Trinidad, health and safety. Every Monday morning, we used to practice health and safety.
Yep.
There's for earthquake, they used to have this try, you run out in the field and all these sort of things, or stand in that doorway. But before time, the people go below that table and we get to know that like stupidness. You used to practice that in school. So health and safety is important. We're surrounded with water. So anybody that come here on a yacht or on a plane or some cargo ship or something to bring this thing. So if you're a proper health and safety instructor and you educate your people about health and safety, you can solve your problem. Now everybody making sanitizer and putting high price. There's one local company producing sanitizer about $22 for a bottle for the sanitizer. Some people can't even afford to buy a mask. I saw stand up yesterday and I saw a policeman giving a woman a ticket. And the woman saying, woman crying. She said, officer, I don't even have food in my cupboard home. We are getting $350 to pay for a ticket. Okay?
Yeah.
And this is the type of thing that is happening. Instead of you educate people, you're putting you're turning the place into a police state to force people to go in your direction. And all it takes is education. You could simply get, I think, simple vinegar. You could use as a sanitizer. I think costs much money for that. Some people can't even afford to buy a bottle of sanitizer. Steaming is the next thing. Depends on which part you're working. You do something called steaming. In the hospital again, you've seen a lot of medical practitioners walk in the street in the uniform, come from the hospital and walk in the street in the uniform. Health and safety wife, that is wrong. Washing your clothes from a public place like that and putting together with your family or children clothes, it is wrong. Health and safety wise, there are certain structures and measures you have to follow. Then you had to consistently boosting your immune system. Use heat. COVID, they say COVID don't like heat. So you use ginger is heated. You have
We have.
Hmm?
I think I've got the document right here.
What come out today?
Yeah, I believe so. This is it. So Earl was going to show us earlier. Can you read that? Can you see that?
Printer's very fine.
Let's see what we can do. See if I can work some magic here.
Very fine.
See what? Here we go. Can you read that?
No, I'm not seeing it. Best you do it. The print, it's real fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just can't read all of it. I can't read the whole article. It's weird. Let me see if I can do this. Pull this back a second. So it's Royal Grenada Police Force press release. And see who's here. Prisoner in police custody test positive for COVID-19 rapid test, and the second man arrested and charged for breach of quarantine. Based on information circulating on social media, the RGPF, or the Royal Grenada Police Force, is confirming that a man who was in custody at Central Police Station over Thanksgiving holiday weekend tested positive on a rapid test for COVID-19. The individual was detained by the police on Sunday, October the 25th, 2020. He was later charged and taken to court on Tuesday, the 27th of October 2020, and was reprimanded to Her Majesty's prison. However, following established protocols for COVID-19, the individual was rapid tested for the virus, and the initial test was positive. Consequently, a PCR test was administered, and we await the result. He was taken to a government-run quarantine facility where he was guarded by the Royal Grenada Police Force under a 24-hour basis. As a result of this development, police officers who came in contact with the individual are now being monitored. There is no need for panic since the officers who were in contact with the individual have followed the protocol for COVID-19. Further, police have arrested and charged a second individual for a breach of quarantine. Cameron Phillips, 25 years old, entrepreneur of River St. Patrick's, was charged for failing to remain in quarantine. He was placed on $20,000 bail and two sureties to appear in court on November the 3rd, 2020. The source is from the Office of the Commissioner of Police. The contact is the Community Relations Department. So there you have it there. That was what Earl wanted to show us earlier on.
Okay.
Any thoughts, Mr. Kutain?
Okay. So what you read out is some of the structure what they say they put in place. Now it's good, but the man leaving the facility, which means he didn't have proper security. He had a right to leave there. So which means that place they had is a puppy show. The structure they say they put in place what read out there, and they have security watching him. But they say he was brought to the court and all these different places. So again, all we pass that to sanitize.
Is that the same gentleman that the solicitor was talking, or the lawyer solicitor was talking about? Oh, this information was incorrect.
They said Thanksgiving Day was the 25th of October, which was Sunday. So that is somebody new. And first time I hear about it. But I heard there was yesterday I passed on the back there and I see they was sanitizing yesterday. And I saw somebody send something for me about it. You understand? So
yeah.
But health and safety is something they take for they don't take serious in this place.
Well, can you give us a health and safety rundown and checklist for the next show you come on? Let's do that.
Yeah. No, health and safety this whole thing is about health and safety.
Well, let's do that then. At least maybe we can help Sir Nicholas Steele, Mr. Nicholas Steele. We can help him out with health and safety.
There's a group of persons. They have one of the main guy here. They call him Chapel Thomas.
Yes.
And they're on the board with them and whatever it is. But it have different health and safety for medicine.
Yes.
It have health and safety in construction. It have health and safety with food.
Well, the health and safety that you're passionate, strong about, and qualified in. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Can we do that? Because we have to wrap up the show. Is there any final thoughts about this today?
Well, basically, we just reasoning on the issues what affecting us and people and the country at whole because it am bugging people life.
Yeah.
I haven't really worked since March month, so I had to be living on my pension. I had to go in my pension to take out to live. And
Yeah.
as I tell you, I pay my NIS and all these things like anybody else. And I was working at the time, and all the measures what they said, I did it. And up to today, nobody have said, "Oh, look, Jesus wept." You understand?
Yeah.
Nobody think. I know I went to work. I have skills. I've been prevented to work because I'm not part of the party, or I not. I don't follow political party, and I don't jam up politician because they feel I did. I work with people.
Well, you know what? Like I said before, we're going to do for self. Let us work together. On the subject of that, if anybody is interested in advertising, so advertising their products or their services on this international show, please feel free to do that. Also, for those who would like to sponsor the show, we now have some interns who are going to be part of the show as well. So anyone who would like to sponsor the show, the information is down the bottom there as well. So yeah, I think that's the end of the show for us today. We'd like to thank once again Mr. Melvin Coutain. It'd be nice if we could start doing some shows, some martial arts shows for us. I told you before. I'm sure there'll be Grenadians that would love to have some keep foot martial arts with yourself. That'd be quite interesting to have.
I'm willing to do some martial art because I just do different type of martial art. That will get my master in. And martial art to restore back your health,
Yes.
eating habits, building your
Yes.
self-esteem. I have to move away from martial art from fighting.
Yes.
I use it, but there's martial art to build your self-esteem.
Let me do a show. Let me do a show. Let's do a show. Let's get these shows out there. Let me do a show, right? Let me do a show. So let's get that going. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much as always for watching Grenada Matters. In closing, please do, when you go onto the Grenada Matters page, go across the right-hand corner, look down the page, you'll see invite friends. Click on that and get your friends in the room. Invite your friends. Grenada Matters. Thank you all so much once again for watching. Thank you once again from Master Melvin Coutain and, of course, Mr. Earl J. Maitland.